Comedy Festival this weekend. Please give it up for the wonderful, the talented Sean Devlin.
I'm a relationship expert. I just learned that from someone who's never been in a relationship with me. Hi.
Hey.
How are you all?
Good.
So good.
Good. So good?
Pretty good.
Whoa. You just took several steps back from so good to pretty good. Is it pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah? So when I first came out, you were so good. And then I made one off-the-cuff remark, and you were immediately pretty good. Okay. The reviews are in early.
You're probably a relationship expert, not me.
I mean, yeah, Emma said that, and then I tried to refute that, and you brought it up again.
Okay,
all right.
all right.
I'm not. I don't know where this rumor started. I feel like there's a lot of expectation now. I'm not going to talk about...
That's okay.
I mean, well, okay. I mean, do you need some advice?
I was afraid that you thought I'd given you a relationship, or I was judging you or your leads in relationships. Not Emma, so I just got confused.
Yeah, relationships are confusing.
He is
Well, that was
a
all
relationship
I
expert.
I am an expert?
That was really good advice.
That wasn't
That was really
shit.
nice. Oh my god.
And I mean, I haven't really been very funny, so...
Enjoying the hell out of it.
Okay, this guy's enjoying the hell out of my relationship. My favorite part of the show so far was at the start when Emma was asking who had been here and who hadn't been here. And I don't mean to make any of you feel self-conscious, but 99.9% of audiences clap. And you all politely raised your hands. And when I saw you silently raising your hands, and then I kind of took in this beautiful blanket fort, it felt, just for a moment, like this was a high school reunion for a bunch of people that had been homeschooled. Like we're just in one of your mom's garages. She was like, what do people like? Blankets, people like to be warm, and they like Christmas. So I'll put up these Christmas lights. And then the question was asked, you're like, we still don't know how to socialize. I wasn't homeschooled, but I'm definitely a product of my parents' parenting. Paul, are you familiar with the term snowflake? I mean, not describing a flake of snow, but there's, has anyone else heard this term that people are using now? You've heard it? So what was it in reference to?
Basically being told that you're special since you're young.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah, being told that you're special since you were young turns you into a snowflake. And then a lot of these sort of Trump supporters are using this as an insult to say that people who are offended by offensive stuff are snowflakes, and I realized that I'm a total snowflake, and it's because of my parents, and so to explain, actually, first it goes back to my grandmother, my father's mother, when I was 2, tried to convince my parents, because they were mixed. My mom's from the Philippines and my dad is Irish. And his mother didn't like the mixing of the races. She was racist. And so she kept trying to prove that their marriage was a bad idea by insisting at the age of 2 that I had a mental disability. And she would bring this up at family gatherings. She'd be like, see, he's not talking. he's mentally disabled. My parents were like, no, he's just quiet. He's just thinking. He's thinking his own thoughts. She was like, no, he's mentally disabled. And she kept bringing it up. She kept saying it for a year. And so my parents decided to take me to a doctor with my grandma to prove to her that I wasn't. So I had to do all these tests. And one of them was just showing me a bunch of images. And I had to name what they were. So I'd be like, ball, car, tree. See? I know my shit. And, sorry?
Is that what they were though?
I actually... Okay, buddy, fact-checking this story from when I was 2. I mean, yeah, it was vague stuff like that. It wasn't like a visual representation of the concept of compassion. Like, that was above mine. It was like tree, ball, that sort of thing. And then there was an ice cream cone, which if you don't know ice cream cone, it looked a lot like this. It was basically this. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, I don't know. And my grandma was like, see? He's mentally disabled. And my parents were like, no, we just haven't given him an ice cream because we don't want him to have too much sugar. And then my grandma brought me out for my first ice cream. Yeah. I think some of you now are wondering about that story. Sorry? Did someone just say, it's a story? Thank you. Yeah, I described a sequence of events. But then when I was 11 years old, I had been going to this soccer camp for several years, and I loved soccer camp. Every summer I loved soccer camp. And then, for some reason, one summer I woke up, and my parents were like, you're going to Sunshine Camp. And Sunshine Camp was not the name of the soccer camp, and so they drove me to a small farm in a field in the woods, like in the country. And there was like 30 other kids there. And I was told that this was a horse camp. I was told this was Sunshine Horse Camp. But I didn't see any horses. And we just started hanging out with all these kids, and then at a certain point we were asked to play soccer together, which I was excited by because I wanted to actually be at soccer camp. And as we were playing soccer, I remember looking around at the soccer field and realizing that everyone, all the other kids on the soccer field, had a mental disability. Every kid. Every single kid. And I was like, huh. I didn't think it was funny. I'm not judging you if you just laughed, but I didn't think it was funny. It just was, it was new. And then a little later, they said we could look at the horse. There was a horse, and you would just look at it from a distance. And I remember looking at this horse and realizing that all the kids who were looking at the horse with me had a physical disability. And I was like, huh. And I thought of my grandmother. And I thought, you know, this is just a heck of a way to tell somebody. And I'm sitting there at lunch, and everyone there had some sort of disability, and I was just forced, you know, to reflect. And yeah, I've never told this. Anyways, so the camp lasted like 5 days, and then you know, it was great. It was a lot of fun. We didn't get any closer to the horse, but and then literally 20 years passed, and I told this same awkward story at a dinner to somebody, and they're like, "Wait, what? The ending of your story makes no sense. Why were you at this camp?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I never figured it out." So in my 30s, I was home at Christmas. In my 30s, I was having Christmas dinner with my parents. It was very nice, and I just brought it up. I was like, "Hey, do you guys remember Sunshine Horse Camp?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I was going to soccer camp up to that point. I loved soccer camp. And then you sent me to Sunshine Camp. And everybody there had a disability. I don't know if you knew that." And they said, "Yeah, well, we know that you loved soccer. You were very happy playing soccer. But we also thought that maybe it would be good for you to spend a week with a bunch of disabled people. And you're our kid, so it was our choice." And that's what they did. It was just like an experiment. Now I'm a snowflake, so if anyone's wanting to know how you do that, that's one of the steps. Thanks very much, everybody, for your time.